Welcome back, Heroclix fans. Today we are looking at my top 10 favourite Heroclix figures with the monster keyword. Now I should give a shout out to my brother because he came up with this idea. Neither of us have seen it anywhere else, so I think it's kind of unique and kind of a fun idea for us to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through monster this week, and then next week we'll do mystical, and we'll go on and on like that. But if you guys want to drop a keyword in the comments, I'll more than happy take your guys' keyword first and build my own list for those. But also let me know your top 10 favourite monsters for this episode. But without further ado, let's get into this. At number 10, Shuma Gorath. Now this was one of the first Colossals that I used quite a lot of. There was obviously Giant Size X-Men, Galactic Guardians and stuff before this. But for me, this was an absolute powerhouse which I used in a lot of games. It had cool powers like Mind Control, which I was a big fan of. I think it was also the first con exclusive that I had. I can remember using it a few times, and I love that its eye could move on the back as well. Great looking character, a great character in general, just a really interesting concept. So this had to be number 10. He was ridiculous. He could attack multiple times, he had insane range, he could do anything he wanted. He had prob, he had mystics, all the good stuff. Just an insane figure, so for fairly cheap as well, with the Mole Man as well. Being able to control him and make him attack again. He was too powerful at the time with the current figures. Coming in at number 9, I've gone for Hulk, the Age of Ultron. I think it was Age of Ultron, the chase figure from that. He's insanely hard to take down, which is true to the character. It feels like a Hulk should. Really gruesome sculpt and story in general, but I absolutely love those alternate stories from Marvel. This one in particular was gruesome, but like I say again, it fits the sculpt, it fits the character, it fits the story. Really big fan. I remember playing against it in a sealed, almost impossible to take down. It was only because I had 6 characters to his 1 that I was able to finally get it down. It's just so powerful, and it's what a Hulk should be. I think Hulks, more than any other figure, should have stop clicks. It's almost impossible to take a Hulk down, so I feel like this was one of the best, not the best, one of the best iterations we've had. In at number 8, we've got Dracula. Now this figure is the one from Amazing Spider-Man, so it's the regular looking one just wrapped in his cape, sort of the iconic image of Dracula. I use this in so many games. When it was out, it was one of the strongest figures. I thought it was anyway. It probably wasn't. No, it definitely wasn't. There was stuff like Brother Voodoo and things around, so absolutely not. But I was a massive fan of it. I had the Vampire Army, the little 43-point things that went with him. A lot of fun to play, and when he got onto that later dial, he was so hard to KO. The fact he could heal, really cool figure. I can't say it was the best sculpt. The Fear itself, Dracula, looked a lot cooler and is a bit more iconic for Marvel, I think. But this was an easy inclusion. It had to go somewhere. Anyone that's played against me knows how much I use this figure, so again, perfect with Mole Man. Any figure on this list is perfect with Mole Man. But yeah, absolutely love the figure. Coming in at number 7 is the Undertaker from the WWE set we've had recently. Now, Undertaker is one of my favourite wrestlers because of how creepy he is, because he is a monster. The fact that he has that sort of come back to life aspect to him, he's sort of undead. Really enjoy it, and he was perfect and fits perfect into Heroclix. The stop click, perfect for him again. Another character that truly deserves a stop click. Great looking sculpt, great abilities. The WWE team ability and powers in general are just insanely strong. Really big fan of those. Really glad they got introduced into the game. And I think the Undertaker is probably the strongest of them. And also one of the few with the monster keyword. Kane has it as well, but he's not quite as powerful. On that first click, he is insane. But once he's knocked off that, I just don't think he's as good. Coming in at number 6 though, we've got Krakauer. One of the coolest looking Colossals that I can think of. I loved when he was a map and the effects he had. I love the character in general. I'm a massive X-Men fan, so seeing him created as a character was amazing. The figure, even better than the map. Some great abilities. He can still sort of attack from distance, but he has to get in there and set things up first. I do think there is some meta potential with him. I'm not sure how much or how it would work. One team I have built with him is... I am going to be doing a team build on this, but I might as well throw it out here as well. Krakauer, 2 Shade the Changing Girls, the ones that you could jump over to items and you could roll shape change and they hit themselves. And then I think the last figure was a Daredevil. So the concept is the Shades jump over onto items so that near their starting area. They can either roll shape change and they hit themselves, or they fail, get hit. Krakauer retaliates, and then he can back off, and Daredevil and the Shades can tie up the team whilst Krakauer powers away at him from a distance. So that's sort of an idea for him. That's how much I love the figure. I've been trying to fit him into a team because of how cool he is, because of how cool the abilities are. Coming in at number 5 from the same set is Mojo. One of my favourite episodes of the original X-Men cartoon. They get sucked into a world and they have to battle in like an arena. Absolutely loved it. This giant version of him is incredible. I love the smaller version we got before. In general, he normally has great abilities, great mobility, restricting mobility for the enemy. Just really powerful. Again, I think this is one that could fit into teams. And again, something I am going to build around and release team building videos around this figure. But because I've been speaking so much about teams, let me know some teams with these characters that maybe you've thought of, or monster teams that you enjoy playing at the moment. I know the common thing is to go like Wendigo, but he's too powerful for what he costs. And the fact that you can have multiple ones and they work off each other's wounds and stuff, I don't find Wendigo fun in the slightest. I don't find playing against it, I don't find using it. But maybe you do, so let me know your monster teams in the comments below. And number 4, again, we've got another one from the same set. The Shadow King. He is untouchable. You can't range him very well, you have to be within 4 squares. He's got prob, power cosmic, reduces penetrating, so you're not outwitting his defense, you're not shooting through it. The only way you're going through it is dealing a ton of damage. So although his dial is fairly short for the points, it's a lot longer than it looks. It's going to take you a lot longer to beat through it. He is an absolute monster. Excuse the pun, but out of everything on this list, this is probably one of the strongest figures. There's probably 1 stronger, maybe 2 stronger figures coming up, but for the points, the amount he has, and the amount he neuters most teams, not being able to shoot him and his prob and other things, he's just a fantastic figure. Now, number 3, I don't think any of my friends would have guessed. I don't think anyone that's played against me would have guessed. I don't think anyone would put on their list, but for me, the power that this figure had perfectly sums up the character. So it's Gollum from The Hobbit, one of my favourite abilities in the game. You can place him somewhere where other characters don't have line of fire to, which for me perfectly sums up Gollum. I think it's an insanely powerful ability, a really cool ability, but in general it's just a fun ability. You can get him around, you can tie figures up. It's just such a cool idea and concept in which we don't really see many characters that can just appear somewhere. I've always loved stuff like that. We've had Spiral that's able to do it before, and then we've had Demonicus, I can't remember his name. There was a figure, someone might be able to drop this in the comments, that you could switch with the most powerful figure on the enemy team. Can't remember its name right now. Yeah, if anyone can, please drop that in the comments. But absolutely love Gollum. Love the character in the films. I wanted to pick something outside of Marvel and DC. Although saying that, have I actually picked a DC? No, I haven't put a DC on the list, so DC need to step up their monster game. Number 2 is the Super Skrull zombie version. So my first introduction to the metagame was this figure. It was the first time I attended Nationals and Wizkids Open, stuff like that. I think they were just called qualifiers at the time, but it was the basic same idea. This was the second tournament team I had made. My original one was the Question Chase. It was John Constantine Super Rare from Trinity War, and another mystical figure. I can't remember who it was, but they had the Book of Skulls, and dropping those hammers on them made them insanely strong. And the 3 of them together, I really wish I could remember that last figure. There was a friend that helped me make it, so I might ask him. But anyway, that's sort of a sidetrack from... Although that does give you a lot of... It gives you a look at what I'm going to be picking for my mystical list anyway. But Super Skrull, so powerful, amazing abilities, cool sculpt, cool concept. The fact that it could feast and not die. Choose abilities, but it was a zombie, so it was falling apart, so you would take damage each turn sometimes. The dice roll, I think every pick a power character should have. You should have the ability to take damage from doing it, because it is a very powerful ability. I think Super Skrull sort of nailed that. It had powers on its dial as well, but there were weak ones like barrier and things. Sometimes it got perplexed, so it was very helpful. Just one of my favourite figures to play with, and one that I wish we might get in the Fantastic Four set, and I hope we do, but I don't know if it will be as powerful as this one. But the moment we've been waiting for, my number one favourite monster keyword figure, Immortal Hulk. Now again, as well as giving me the idea for this video, my brother traded me this figure, so I should thank him again. You either don't touch him and he gets in the way as Bruce Banner, then eventually tears your team apart, or you target him and he tears your team apart straight away. Amazing sculpt, one of my favourites. The fact that he's coming out of a grave and he's like coming back to life, I love anything added to a sculpt. So, I mean, thrones, tombstones, like Black Hand had one of my favourite sculpts. This does that as well. I love the Hulk in general. The fact that he can free charge, the fact that he's got insane stats when he's on his stop click. He's got stop click invincible, which makes him so hard to take down. Incredible figure. In my opinion, the best Hulk we've received. And again, one figure I'm going to be building around, and one figure I will probably use for the upcoming Wizkids Open in the UK. But like I say, they're my top 10 monsters. Let me know yours in the comments below. But most importantly, let me know which keyword you want me to do next. And if you're enjoying the videos, drop a like, subscribe, so I know you guys do want to see more Heroclix stuff. But until next time,